right, here we are. Welcome to Black Voices Artist Chat. Today, I have with me the beautiful Anita Maria Taylor, who is going to be performing this Friday. And her show is called Mommy and or Bipolar
Bipolar
Mommy
Mommy and Me.
and Me. Yes. So, okay. So that title needs an explanation. Please tell us about a little bit about your show.
So, my show is about my relationship with my mother, who had bipolar 1 disorder,
Mm.
and also my own experiences with mental illness as someone who suffered from depression all of my life.
Mm.
So it's really it's fun, but it's also touching because we get into a topic that isn't really talked about. Like there's very few stories that depict mental illness from the perspective of a family that's lived through it.
Very true. And also, as we were talking about earlier, the fact that it's taboo to talk about, it tends to be taboo to talk about mental health in the African American community. So bravo to you for doing this show and for shedding light to a lot of people who need to see it, who need to hear it. um what and so I would, what was your inspiration to write it, to come up with this, because you can go through this, but a lot of people are, they'll just get therapy and then keep it moving, but to actually put it out there in a solo show takes a lot of courage. So bravo to you for doing that. But what made you say, I'm ready, I want to do this?
A couple of things. One is I started writing stories and plays when I was very young, like starting at like 9 years old. So
Mhm.
it's always been something that's, I guess, in my blood, you might say. But I took a really long break. I actually walked away from acting in 2007. So I really hadn't done any creative projects in a long time. And I actually went on an acting and writing retreat 3 years ago. And it really inspired me to want to get back to my creative roots and to, start writing and acting again.
Mhm.
And it happens that my show, I was taking a class, a solo show writing class by Terry Silverman,
Mhm.
and it happened to coincide with a very intense period of my relationship with my mother. So the show was written at a very pivotal time.
Mm, yeah. There's so many. I mean, I have a great relationship with my mother. Um, there was never any tension between us, and same thing with my father. And I grew up kind of feeling like everyone had that kind of relationship with their parents, and I come to realize that a lot of people don't. And so it's one of those, but the thing about a relationship between a mother and a daughter is it's such a strong bond. And so if there is any kind of tension, I feel like it affects us so much more because it's, we're so connected to our mothers, I think, specifically more than fathers, you know.
Yeah, I kind of have an interesting childhood because I was actually raised by my father, not my mother.
Mm.
So back in the 80s, it was pretty much unheard of for a dad to be the single father of 3 children. And yet that's what my family was.
Wow. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Detroit.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So what was that like actually, um, going through elementary school? Did you get bullied at all? Oh, you don't have a mother. Where's your mother? How come your father's always here? Did that come up?
I don't really remember people teasing me about, my mom not being there. I don't really have any memories of that. I had other things that I was teased about, like being poor and wearing raggedy clothes. Like that was a, constant theme of my childhood. But My dad was also, we'll call him eccentric,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't like he was like, the happy, stable father either. So I had two parents that had issues.
Got you.
The judge just happened to side with one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, but thank God that you had your father, thank God that you weren't put into the system, right? So that's a blessing. Um, and and so tell us a little bit about the process of creating this show. How was that for you?
It was really intense. The writing of it was very intense. And then, of course, I'm like, I'm through writing, I'm done. And my director, Sammy Wayne, was like, oh, no, 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 you are just getting started. So I went through a really intense period of rewriting as we started rehearsals.
Yeah, good. And you're in good hands with Sammy Waynish. I'm sure you figured out.
Exactly.
I'm glad it all works out for him to direct your show. He's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it helps to, I don't know, I feel like uh a solo artist directing another solo artist, there's a little bit more of an understanding being a solo artist, so you can kind of tap into the other side as well. I mean, it's similar to, I know a director friend of mine who directs film, and she said she wanted to take an acting class so that she could understand, how to better direct the actors. So yeah, so I'm glad that it worked out with Sammy. um
Yeah, this is my first solo show.
Wow.
So, in addition to this being the world premiere of Bipolar Mommy and Me, it's also my world premiere as a solo artist.
Oh,
So, being in a solo show is very different from acting, in a play or acting on film with other characters. So, it's been like a really great learning opportunity.
yeah. And how are you feeling about Friday? Do you feel like you're ready? Are you nervous? Are you excited? How are you feeling?
Of course, I'm nervous and of course, I'm excited, but I feel like my show is in a really great place. And I feel like it has the power to really touch people and educate people and also make them laugh at the same time.
Good, good. That's really important to have a combination of all of that. That's great. Well, guess what? It's so normal to be nervous. I still get nervous, and I've performed 5 shows and multiple times. And I think it's all good nerves, right? Because it's like, for me, what happens is I'll be crazy nervous before the night before, hard to sleep, et cetera, et cetera. But then the minute you get on stage, it's like, right. And then,
Exactly.
right, and then because we're in person now, which we weren't able to do last year, so just the energy from the audience, and I'm sure you're going to have friends and family in the audience, people who love you and want to support you, and so you're feeling the energy of them, and that's just going to make you soar.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for all the people who have, bought tickets and have gone out of their way to support me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm excited to see your show. Well, can you tell us what you would like the audience to take away?
What I want the audience to take away is that mental illness is real, but it's also manageable. And I want them to walk away with a portrait of how mental illness impacts people's lives, but that there is hope.
Mm, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, why don't you tell us the details about your show, when it's going to be, and the time, etc. Take it away.
So my show is Bipolar Mommy and Me. It's this Friday, October 8th at the Whitefire Theater. And it's not too late to get tickets in person. So you can go to www.whitefiretheater, that's theatre.com. So you can get tickets to the on-person show there. And on demand will be available approximately the day after the show.
Yes, beautiful. All right. Well, I'm excited to see your show, and congratulations on getting it done. And I will see you on Friday.
Thank you so much.
All right. See you.